Welcome to the Top Shelf Dusters podcast for a special summer recap edition. I am the fact checker for this group, Amanda, and I'm joined by Jesse.
I'd rather go back to an hour ago when I didn't have to talk to you guys.
We missed you too.
Yeah.
And with Cass.
I know this isn't hockey related, but back-to-back champs. Congratulations, New England Free Jacks, Major League Rugby.
Rugby.
And with Ethan.
It's 94 degrees right now, and it's 8:42. Help.
What you get for living in Texas, buddy.
I guess.
So someone is mowing their lawn outside, and now my Ring cameras are going off. So I'm gonna take care of that real quick before that gets annoying.
And while he does that, we're gonna kick it off. We've got a good bit of news, but it's not like the last couple episodes because that was atrociously long.
That was long
of news. Some league news to start us off. The NHL and NHLPA are considering a calendar change when the CBA is renewed in 2 years. So in 2026, this is per Pierre LeBrun, one of my favorite
You love him.
people out there.
Your favorite journalist.
I think it's interesting. So here are the four main points. Preseason would be cut to 4 games per team. I love that. Regular season would start sooner in October, which I think this year it starts October 4th. I'm not sure how, I guess, first, second, or third. It would be an 84-game regular season,
Nice.
which hints at some expansion, maybe.
It's already happened.
And yeah. And the cup would be awarded by May 31st, which would be sooner than it was this year. This year was
June 23rd or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't hate that. I like the expansion of the regular season to 84 games. I had been asking for that for a couple of years. I don't care about preseason, so you could do 0 games and I'd be fine with that. Doesn't matter to me. Having it start earlier in October would be great too, because then it ends earlier as well. And like you said, having the cup awarded at the end of June just doesn't make any sense to me. It's already 100 degrees in certain places. Like, we don't need the cup being awarded at the end of June.
Oh, I feel like there are way too many preseason games as it is right now. But it is something that, as a parent of 2 young children,
is the pluralization.
Usually, I know.
Chilton.
Those are usually the games we target every year because they're cheaper. You can get in for like $20 a ticket compared to like
Makes
100
sense.
change each ticket, and plus the kids don't really care after the first period. So that kind of stinks that that's going to be more limited. But besides that, I don't hate this at all. I mean, the only thing that kind of sucks is we did talk about the season going into middle of June, but now what am I going to watch in the middle of June now? No one really wants to watch baseball.
Oh, okay. I don't want to watch baseball either.
Not when it's the only option. That's when it gets desperate.
I will go outside and touch some grass. I'd rather do that than watch baseball. There is a fly buzzing around my room, and it is gigantic. Anyway,
if you hear a mower, that's not the fly, though.
Yeah, it might be.
Terrifying.
I see it zooming past my camera, and then my camera's focusing on it, and I'm going. It's just weird. Anyway, I'm a big fan of the potential for this. I think that this would be great. Again, don't really care about the preseason, but the earlier start to the season, the expansion to 84 games, I'm all about it.
Yeah, preseason. I think if you eliminate preseason, that's not a good thing because it's a great chance for younger guys to get some ice time in an NHL setting, but you can do that in 4 games. That's not too big of a deal.
What is it at now? 6?
6, I think.
I feel like it's more. I feel like it's like 8 or 10. Because they at least have 4 home games and 4 away, I feel like. Amanda.
Yeah, she can check that out.
She's knitting.
I could be way wrong. Yeah,
It's literally what I'm here for.
While she looks that up,
crocheting.
There were some front office moves for 4 teams. The first being the oh-so-beloved cap-friendly Capitals. They promoted Chris Patrick to GM but Brian McClellan will remain president. I don't follow Washington news that much, so if anyone else has any comments about that, go for it.
I saw the fly.
You did see the fly, didn't you? I'm telling you, dude, it's buzzing right.
But
I'm not gonna lie, my
yeah.
focus on anything hockey related since July has been so.
Matt Roy.
Well, here's more news that Jesse didn't keep up with.
that I didn't keep up with.
The Pittsburgh Penguins, geriatric Penguins, they have named Wes Clark VP of Player Personnel, which it's shockingly fast because what's his face? What's their GM's name? Oh,
Kyle Dubas.
that's right. They worked as a team in Toronto, so it took one season, and now he's reunited.
Does that
Matt
make
Murray will be back there soon.
Real
gonna-
fast, it is 6 preseason games.
6?
Hodge.
The Penguins are going to get Poop
Wonder
Soup
why that
Jack
was so hard to
Campbell
find.
next season. Calling it now.
First
Calling it now.
First,
The next one, Jesse, you may have some opinions about because Columbus hired Dean Evison as head coach.
I mean, this is going back to your reduce, reuse, recycle. What has he done in Minnesota? I mean, yeah, he made the playoffs a couple times, but nothing past the first round. I don't think that this is going to have any sort of impact quickly, but we'll see what happens with them as they try and rebuild their roster, which they desperately need.
can't get any
I mean, they
worse,
got
right?
I mean, they can get worse. They definitely can get worse.
I mean, they've got Waddle Baby Waddle in their office now, so who knows? Maybe they can be a mediocre playoff team.
Making it to the playoffs is their bar right now. That's where they should be. That's where they should be, is just making it to the playoffs. Even if they don't get past the first round, that's fine for the Columbus Blue Jackets. Just at least make the playoffs.
Yeah. Well, the one that I'm sure everyone has opinions about, they did it. The Edmonton Oilers, they did what no team wanted to do, except them. They hired the infamous Stan Bowman, which, if you are familiar, he was part of the Chicago Blackhawks issues.
The issues, to put it lightly.
Yeah.
I think that this is just the island of misfit toys. That's where everyone goes, is Edmonton. I mean,
really
if they want to stay, if they're players that have problems that want to stay in hockey, Edmonton seems to want you. So, not even just players, it apparently, because now they're allowing their front office personnel to be tainted as well. So, if that's what you want, if that's what you want as a team, if that's who you want to be, sure, that's fine, I guess. But to take Stan Bowman and put him in a position of general manager, just ridiculous.
If it makes you feel better, he told Kyle Beach about it.
Oh, hey, by the way, I'm
bad.
they're gonna make me GM. Yeah, you don't have any say in this at all. I'm just letting you know. All right, thanks, bye. That's probably how that phone conversation went.
Hope you're enjoying not being in the NHL. Gosh, that's terrible. Well, whatever.
How long is Knobloch going to be behind the bench in Edmonton before Joel Quenneville gets appointed as head coach? What are you saying? 4 months? 5 months? What do you think?
I mean,
What's
he's
the
done a good
over-under?
job, so that makes it difficult.
The over-under.
So it's kind of crazy. Stan Bowman's first order of business, and we'll talk about this a little bit later, is figuring out if he wants to sign those 2 kids to the offer sheets that St. Louis put out there for, I think it was Broberg and then another young prospect in the Edmonton system.
I saw a meme that went something along the lines of, we haven't had many offer sheets in the post-cap era, and then Stan Bowman gets hired as Edmonton GM, and they get immediately 2 offer sheets against them. Like, that's what you get. That's what you get for doing that.
Perfect. Yep.
Well, everyone can keep hating on the Oilers. I know I do. Thanks a lot, Edmonton.
Hey, La Bamba. You
Play La Bamba.
ate those words pretty good, huh?
Yeah, I
That
sure
fly
did.
is
But
vicious.
imagine getting so upset that another team played a song and then your team hires Stan Bowman. Like, geez.
I know. Maybe you
Imagine
should pick.
getting so upset about a song and then you had to eat the words about a week and a half later.
Oh, they didn't eat their words. They picked and chose their battles, and their battle was La Bamba. They said nothing else about anything else that may have happened. That was their
We
battle.
forgot about
I was talking
hockey.
about Ethan.
Oh, gotcha.
No, yeah. Here in Dallas, we just focused on the song and forgot about hockey. Here's fun news, more uplifting news. Utah just keeps getting things. They got their team in the spring this year, and they're now getting the 2034 Winter Olympics. And I'm sure Ryan Smith is just licking his lips at this. That's a weird
So
phrase, but
He's doing what? You sick. Anyway, I mean,
just soaking in it.
this is going to be really beneficial for them. It's definitely going to help the entirety of the franchise in what's their state? I was going to say Ohio. Why did I say Ohio? In Utah, I think it's going to help them tremendously. I think it's going to be beneficial. It's 10 years from now though, so I'm sure we'll follow up with that in the next decade or so.
Imagine if the team just fell apart, like it wasn't a successful move, and then they get the
We should
Olympics.
know- No, by now, Harry Bettman will squeeze everything he can before he moves the team at this point. So I think they're safe for the next 10 years. I mean, as far as Salt Lake City goes, I mean, they did host in 2002. They do have some kind of infrastructure there for hosting the Winter Olympics. Plus, Utah Hockey Club did just release renderings and what they're going to do for a practice facility, and that thing's going to be gorgeous too. So I wonder if that's going to be tied into the Olympics at all, whether it's using it for speed skating or whatever, you know. But
Well,
I mean,
and
good
their
for
main
them.
stadium will
Yeah.
have gone through their renovations for more seating
Definitely, yeah.
by that time. Yeah.
I'm looking at like a projected map of what they're looking to do, and it seems like everything that would be required for the Winter Olympics would be available to be traveled to within an hour. So I think that that's pretty reasonable, and will
That's
help
awesome.
with the events that's going on there as well.
Kat brings up a good point in the comments. She said they have a ton of infrastructure up in Park City, which Park City, yeah, that's the ski capital for Utah. So it's a good place. That's why they're going back. Same as LA for the summer. Like the LA Olympics, whenever that was, those were really successful.
Alan, that's a great question. Why do we all have the same haircut?
It was planned.
It's because we're all white guys
Amanda's
with
got
fades.
her appointment tomorrow.
Amanda, you gotta get faded, Amanda. Come on,
Thank you.
Gotta get faded.
Hard pass. Hard pass.
gotta
You
get
just
faded.
asked for the middle-aged white guy haircut, and this is what we get, all of us.
Yeah, I've been
No matter
having.
where you live, it's the same.
You said middle aged. I've been having a midlife crisis this summer. It's been fun.
Oh boy.
What's going on with Tampa Bay? You have here that they're going to possibly be sold for $2 billion. What's that about? I didn't see that.
So I actually only saw this from Freeze the Puck Hockey. One of our admins posted about it, and I haven't dug super deep into it, but I know the admin who posted that, he's a pretty reliable source for Tampa Bay stuff. It sounds like it's $2 billion, but the current owner, I forget his name, he will still control the team and have some controlling stake. I think he's selling high, and I think it's brilliant
Oh.
from a financial standpoint.
According to Google and according to Sportsnet, Lightning have begun a multi-stage sale process with Doug Ostrover, the co-founder and co-chief executive of Blue Owl Capital, and they're in talks to acquire the franchise. So it seems like it's further along than just like guesswork. It looks like they're starting to put pen to paper and stuff like that.
Per
But it doesn't say
ESPN,
percentages why.
sorry, keep going, Cass.
No, I was just gonna say it doesn't say anything percentage-wise or like timeline or anything like that.
ESPN has
That's
an
why
article.
Stamkos wasn't signed.
Sell. ESPN says that Vanik, I think that's how you say his name. He said, I can confirm that we are in discussions to further expand our ownership group of the Tampa Bay Lightning. There will be no change in the day-to-day operations of the Lightning and Vanik Sports Group. I am very excited about what is to come for the organization, and we look forward to sharing more when the time is right. So man, he bought the Lightning in 2010 for 170 million, and it's now valued at 2 billion.
That is
that inflation or
that is a ridiculous return on investment.
Yeah.
You said 173 million?
170 million in 2010.
I'll take the
14 years ago.
I thought I'm speechless. I'm speechless. Yeah. I've got nothing polite to say.
And they had a cup. They had one of their cups at that point too in 2010. So, wow. But
the only one that counts.
No. Anyways, but yeah. So that's it. Who wants to start the player news?
I will.
There you go.
Ethan's favorite player, Mr. Ryan Suter. Who the hell did he sign with? He didn't put
St. Louis. And why would someone spend money on this guy? He's getting paid by 2 other teams to not play.
Torrey Krug is out probably for the season. The St. Louis Blues signed Ethan's favorite journeyman Ryan Suter to a 1-year deal worth $775K. Could be just over $2 million in performance bonuses when all is said and done. Why the hell not that kind of money?
They should have signed him. They should have signed him for 8 years. 775,000, 8 years. He'd still be on buyout somewhere.
I mean, he's making bank.
Oh, 100%.
Is there a limit on how many times a player can be bought out? Like,
I don't think so.
Bought out 2 or 3 times, or can like. It'd be pretty funny if you bought out by like almost the whole division or something.
Why would they? Why? I don't know why. I don't think they would impose a limit on something like that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that's ever happened before either. So you don't really think about it until you need to. Imagine if he did get bought out again. I don't think he will if he's signing 1-year contracts. But
no,
that would be funny.
No, I think he just wants to keep playing. And St. Louis apparently has a terrible farm for defensemen.
Perfect. St. Louis is a terrible team.
No limit.
Yeah. No limit, huh?
No limit.
Not that I can find. No.
No limit. Hold'em.
No one would have ever thought there would need to be.
Next signing is very interesting to me. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen got 5 years, $4.75 million AAV from the Buffalo Sabres. This is interesting to me as someone who previously had Linus Ullmark on a 4-year, $5 million contract when Buffalo didn't sign him and let him go. So I know we're talking 3 years later, but it's still, you'd think they would have kept Linus Ullmark at that point. But good for him. I think they must see something I don't.
I was going to say the same thing.
As overpay. And 5 years, I mean, 2 or 3 years, sure. 5 years is a good chunk of change. I mean, we know if the cap does go up, say, $4 million for the next 5 years, that might be a deal if the cap's $20 million higher by the end of this contract. But either way, I don't think he's worth that kind of coin, in my opinion. You think? And what kind of message does it send to Devin Levi too? Like, he's supposed to be their franchise #1 starter, all that, and they're signing this guy for another 5 years. It's kind of interesting.
Perhaps they're taking into consideration the amount of money that the cap may go up, but I think that's a gamble. I think the term's a little bit long. 5 years doesn't make any sense to me. And like you said, I think it's an overpayment as well. It just, I don't know. Silly move.
We'll see if it pays off. Jesse, your boy, Ryan Lindgren.
The New York Rangers did re-sign Ryan Lindgren prior to arbitration. He got 1 year at $4.5 million. I think I said in a previous episode last season that they were going to do around 5.5. The 4.5 makes sense to me for the 1 year. He'll probably want more next season, or he's going to go elsewhere. I think that there's a lot that had happened with the New York Rangers. A lot that didn't happen with the New York Rangers that was speculated to happen, which kind of tied up money for them still that Ryan Lindgren could have gotten had those moves happened. Jacob Trouba. You guys are talking about spicy books in our chat. Let's not do that. Amanda, they're talking
Amanda's
about
going to start talking all of a sudden.
They're talking about your book talk.
I didn't even bring it up.
You don't need to.
Like
You're the one that everyone thinks of.
Nick says, I'm not going to know who to cheer for. I'll just cheer for the next suckiest player.
Would that be Jimmy Benn?
No. Jamie Benn's a goat.
But the next signing is very interesting. We just talk about an overpay. Wi-Fi on the Canadians got 2 years, $1.3 million. You know, he's been bounced up and down a little bit, but for what he brings to the table for a young Montreal team who's trying to take the next step, I think that's a pretty good deal.
Why is he
Low
called
risk.
Wi-Fi?
Because
Because no one can pronounce his name.
his last name looks like a Wi-Fi password.
How do you say his name?
Jackai.
Jack.
Arbor Jakoff.
Wi-Fi.
That's how phonetics work.
In certain countries, yes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
Amanda, do you want the next one? Because it's so you.
So important for
Right.
you and your team.
It's not
And
gonna
you're
get
the
on
one who's
first
going to
round.
pronounce it right.
Nekus.
Nikias.
Natchez.
Thank you.
What?
Natchez was signed
Natchez.
to a 2-year contract. Just wait.
Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, I'll do it. Nekus just got signed to a 2-year contract.
A 2-year contract for $6.5 million. I think they signed him once they didn't lose him for nothing, and 2, he's going to be a trade bait within the next year. I would be surprised if he stayed a full season next year. I think he'll just be used to trade.
Ooh. You think there would be a team that would take him with the contract?
I think if he doesn't stay this full, watch it be this full year, first full season, he has an amazing year. You get all those teams interested. You retain some of his contract and trade him for whoever.
So, does this mean Carolina's now in a rebuild?
No.
No.
Lost half your
no.
defense. Losing your stud. I don't know. You still don't have a
No.
goalie.
We brought back
have a
Ghost
coach.
Bear, though.
Yeah.
Oh,
The big
that's
move.
the
That's
difference
5 years
maker.
The big move.
That's-
5 years
the
ago, I would
thing.
have been like, whoa.
But this also leaves about $6.4 billion for cap space to re-sign Jarvis, which is the
Holy,
last
$6.4 billion?
It's a million.
Oh, I heard it be. Must
I
have
heard
been the fly in
billion.
Jesse's mic.
It's definitely the fly.
So that leaves enough to sign Jarvis, which is the last missing puzzle piece that the Canes really need to figure out soon.
What do you think he's going to
And a
get?
goalie.
No, we're good. We're good on we are good
You're-
on goalies.
You're not good on goalie.
Canes players
many more
or
goalies
Canes
can
fans
we
say that every
sign?
year. Wait, Cass, what was your question?
How much
you
do
think?
you think Jarvis is going to get?
6.4. Give him 6.399.
You're gonna give him
Six
the
times
rest of your cap
6.4?
space.
Yes.
Okay.
If it means he stays.
Speaking about giving a lot of cap space with little to no NHL experience, Brock Faber got an 8-year extension worth $8.5 million a year. Kid's a stud. Let's not.
Yeah, but
argue
that's
about
a
that,
big
but he's
gamble.
Yeah, it reminds me of that Jake Sanderson contract a year or two ago, where this kid has 22 NHL games. What are we doing? But you can get them locked in 4 years when these kids are getting paid $12.5 million. Maybe you look like a hero, but I don't know. That's a lot of money.
I mean, Minnesota is going to have money
They will.
in a few years.
I think it's 2. Because they're still
And again, Darnell Nurse, Brock Faber.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a no contest. Come on.
Oh, they're equal. Equal players.
Nobody's got a booty like Darnell Nurse. That out of context is
I got
terrible.
it. I understood it. You
Kent
sick
Johnson,
bastard.
believe it or not, was also signed by Columbus, and he gets 3 years at $1.8 million. 21, who's the captain? Bean? Is that his last name?
Boone Jenner?
Boone Jenner. Yeah. I'm so out of hockey.
You can tell that we are in the middle of the summer. Just letting you know.
Boone Jenner's getting old. Goudreau needs a guy that's gonna be there with him.
Like
for
I said,
his
Bean?
long contract.
Bean?
Yeah, he doesn't have Boone Jenner or Line or anything. But
3 for 1.8. That's not bad.
No, I don't think so. I think that that's a reasonable contract right now. And then see how he is faring after it comes or as it comes to an end.
He's a warm body.
And that's what Columbus needs.
In the year 2015, the Bruins had 3 first-round picks in a row, and they blew them all. And
They did
got
what?
A short couple picks after them. They blew them all. They screwed them
Cassidy.
up. They screwed the pooch. They completely blew the gasket. A couple short picks later, the Philadelphia Flyers chose Travis Konechny. Konechny now gets an 8-year extension worth $8.75 million a year, while the Bruins got to watch the last of their 3 draft picks, Jake DeBrusk, walk away for nothing. Way to go, Don Sweeney, you bum.
So
Yeah. Go ahead.
So your point? No, I'm kidding. I think that's good for Philly. I mean, they need guys like Travis Konechny. So, and he's getting paid. I think that's reasonable for both teams. It's going to be a win-win for both of them. Hopefully, they could figure out their goaltender situation because that's needed.
I think guy had 68 points last season. That's great. I think Philly's going to be a good team in like a competitor in the next 5 years.
I mean, they were
Somewhere
a good team
in the
last
next
year,
5.
all things considered. Even though
they went through a
in the
lot.
last 5 games.
The Metropolitan Division was not good, too. So, I mean,
But all
The Rangers
considering,
and the Hurricanes were in it. Come on.
I think that's his point. Maybe
it is.
I mean, they went through the Carter Hart stuff. They now have a massive human being in net. What's his face? And
Bishop.
no, fat.
I don't remember his
What's
name.
his call me?
Starts with
Ivan
an F.
Fedotov.
Yeah.
Yes,
Fedotov.
there you go.
And so, getting a guy that puts up 68 points in a season, that's the way forward. And 8 by 8.5, that's very similar. I'm just going to compare it to Rupe Hintz. And get it now, because if the cap goes up over the next few years, that contract is going to be a good deal.
It's going to be a tradable contract in 4 years, too. If the cap goes up, let's say 16 mil in 4 years, it's going to be a hell of a deal that you can trade it on.
It's true.
That's how I feel like GMs are starting to look at it. Like if we sign into a long-term contract now, in 4 years, this is going to look like a bargain.
Mm-hmm.
So, which I think if someone wants to take the next one, I think that's what they're thinking on that one too.
Caden Gould. That's how you say his last name. Yeah.
All you.
Caden Gould signs with Montreal. He gets a 6-year deal for $5.5 million, and didn't have that bad. He's 22, plays defense, and last season he had 6 goals, 16 assists, So 22 points total on a very terrible Montreal Canadiens team. I think they are trying to build. That's what it feels like.
Maybe it's me. I would much rather have Ryan Lindgren for less a year.
Yeah, but they're only getting
just
him
for
for that
one.
one
Two different
year.
players.
Yeah,
I know.
they're only getting him for that 1 year. He's going to get more. Hopefully he
Someone
can,
else.
Hopefully
Yeah.
he could. Yeah, probably with someone else. Hopefully he could stay healthy, but I don't want to.
Yeah.
The other thing is that 6 years will start next year. So he still has 1 year left of his $863,334 contract.
Kat says seems like a lot for that level of production, and I don't disagree. But I think that they're planning for the future, like Cass said, with the cap going up.
Hi, Tom.
Yeah. Wait, did you say Tom?
Yeah, Tom
Hey
says.
Tom,
Said
thanks for cap friendly going down again. Once
Oh my God, Tom!
again. We love Tom. Cass, we're gonna go into no contract players. We're still waiting on contracts. You want to take the first one?
Yeah. No news. Swayman, Bruins. Still being told there's nothing to worry about, but I don't know.
When does
Really
that
don't
run
wanna
out?
Start the season with Corpusalo.
When does your nothing to worry about kind of run out?
December 1st, when if he doesn't sign a contract, he can't play for the season. I don't know.
December 1st. You wouldn't be
Okay,
worried until
I'm
December
being
1st.
sarcastic. No, I'm being like, obviously you want to. I mean, we reference it all the time because he was on your team, but like, you saw Jason Robertson miss training camp and just jump in was fine. I don't think it's that way for a goalie. Like, obviously he's skating around and doing what he needs to do, but like a goalie, you have to have in-game action before the season starts to keep. Your compete factor and levels up, and I want to see it done, obviously, as soon as possible, preferably before the 1st of October. But what the hell, in my mind, like, what the hell is going to change with Boston? Like, their roster's pretty much set with what they have. They don't have money to move around. Unless they're trying to get rid of a contract, like, whatever they have in cap space is what he's going to get, basically. I don't see that changing.
Well, I'm thinking, like, what's the holdup?
Well, I wonder if Swayman kind of wants like a 2 or a 4 year bridge contract and then get like paid once the cap goes up, or if he's asking for the 10 mil now and they're telling him to pound sand. Either way,
did he file for arbitration?
No, they
I'm
both
assuming
chose not to.
I'm assuming that's why we haven't heard anything yet, right? So yeah, obviously.
Yeah, which kind of gives you hope that they were close when neither the team nor he file for arbitration. But I mean, in the media, he specifically said he hated arbitration. It kind of tore him down a little bit, and he didn't like it. So I think even if they weren't close to a number, he probably wouldn't have gone through it anyway because he just didn't want to deal with the BS.
Reasonable.
Way to go, Dunn. We need screwing the pooch again.
That's an interesting point. That I wonder. You see players go to arbitration. How much does that weigh on them mentally? And especially for a goalie, because goalie, it's a big mental game, right? That's interesting.
And then to that point too, and you wonder if it strains the relationship between the player and the team as well, because I don't know what that arbitration process is like, but
that'd be fun to watch.
I would love to be a fly on the wall in those conversations.
One thing I will say, and this will apply for the 3 players we have on this list, but not to bring in my football team, but CeeDee Lamb, right? Wide receiver for the Cowboys. He still doesn't have a contract. And the reason I ask Cass, like, what's the holdup is something I did hear on the radio in regards to that specific contract in a different sport was like, there was a big lull in negotiations because CeeDee Lamb's agent went to Paris for the Olympics. And so I wonder if a lot of these agents, maybe that's the same thing, because these are guys that would maybe go. So I wonder if like talks have lulled for a lot of players' representation and teams. It's just an optimistic view, but
Dude, If that's, I mean, I don't doubt you. If that's true about CD Lamb's agent, like while they're doing training camp right now, that guy's ass would be grass. I would fire him immediately. I mean, plus the Cowboys just came out with a $20.2 billion valuation for that team. They could pay that kid whatever the hell they need to pay him. And he's
Welcome to
worth it.
NFL Talk. We're changing the
They still
podcast up.
won't win. So,
Jesse, you want this?
Allen's favorite player. Okay. Oh, that Dar. Sorry. Jesse, go ahead.
Way to forget.
It's in the
about me.
background, all blurry.
Jesus. There's still no word on Matty Beniers being re-signed by the Seattle Kraken. He's an RFA. I'm not worried. I think that they'll get something done. What concerns me, I guess, is like how quiet it's been about it. There's like no rumblings at all. There's no rumors. That's kind of weird to me, considering that we're halfway through August. But I think that they'll get something done before training camp starts, hopefully.
What's your guess? Do you have a number, you think?
I think that they'll want to give him some sort of bridge deal. Maybe I would be comfortable with 3.5, but I think anything
For how
above-
long?
for 2 or 3 years.
What? You
What
don't
do you
think
mean?
that's like severely underpaid?
He had a significant fall off last season.
Nobody knows what kind of player he really is. He had a great season and then a season.
Interesting.
I think a 2x3.
I
would
think
be
that's
good.
reasonable.
3x5.
3x5. Ooh.
You're bugging. I mean, but actually, no, maybe not, because looking at the people who did get signed and the numbers that they got, without the stats to back it up, I guess that could make sense.
The last on this no contract list that I put was Dallas's Thomas Harley, who had a great season. I've gotten in multiple debates with Stars fans over the summer about this. There's one half of the fan base that thinks he doesn't deserve a decent bridge deal, because I think ultimately that's what it will come down to. It'll be a bridge deal as well. But he was second in plus minus in the regular season and had second most time on ice. And then he also had the best plus minus in the playoffs with the third most time on ice. So this concept of he's too big for his britches is horse wash. I just threw out so many Southern phrases that it's disgusting.
Horse wash. That's
Horse wash.
Horse wash.
And too big for his britches.
I don't know what either of those terms mean.
I think they get a deal done as well, but I'd like to see a 3-year deal. I think a lot of Stars fans are very scarred by the John Klingberg deal that we signed many years ago. We gave him like an 8-year deal way too soon. What was that?
7x7.
8x7?
Oof.
I think no. I don't know. I don't remember off the top of my head. And that guy's pretty much done for his career. But we'll see.
Tom said Matty Beniers is being traded to Toronto for a 3rd-round pick and future consideration.
And then
So
Alan
Tom
said,
told me
"Shut
to
up, Tom." Yeah, so I agree with Alan.
Love it. I love it.
Technically, he would have to get signed first and then get traded.
Or they could just.
And
trade
I don't
his
know that
rights.
Washington wants him. What? I guess Jesse, you're a little more biased, but like Amanda and Cass, if Beniers was signed for $5 million per year, no matter how long it is, would you trade for him this year? But you have to take on the $5 million.
I need
You would?
center depth really bad. I need center depth.
Oh yeah. What about you, Amanda?
He's rebuilding.
Is she talking?
I would have
There
to
we go.
say pass. I was getting there. Good lord.
Yeah, I would also pass, I think.
You know, it's
for
been
$5 million.
it's been a little bit since we've done this, so I just got to make sure everyone knows what they're doing still. All right, myself included, because I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
While you've found the mic button, Amanda, you want to talk about Kuznetsov? Because you were so excited to get this guy.
I was, and then I was disappointed when he wasn't re-signed, and then kind of shocked that he was going to Russia. It was like a whole whirlwind of emotions surrounding him. But I don't know. I was surprised when he opted not to re-sign and instead going to Russia. It's like, really?
He's getting back in the Coke game. So of course he's going to go back to Russia.
He tried the whole sober thing with the NHL and was like, nah, I'm going back to Russia.
Going back to Russia.
I'm just kidding, Kuznetsov, if you're watching. I don't know.
Do we see him in the 2026 Olympics for Russia?
Do we see Russia in the 2026 Olympics?
Assuming they're in there. Which, honestly, like, current events aside, like, if they're not in it, that's going to kind of suck. That's a good chunk of talent in the league.
Chechnya, they're coming through, man.
If Russia's in the Olympics in 2026, is Kuznetsov the team?
I don't think so. They have so many other options.
If Kuznetsov is then yeah, I don't know. I don't think that, like Ethan said, they do have too many options that they can go for. That it just wouldn't make sense to put him at the age that he's at. How old is he? 32? No, I don't think so.
45.
35?
32. Oh.
Thinking about old
He's
leaps
not
who
that
should
old.
retire. Amanda, why don't you take the next one?
While you've got the mic button.
Okay, I had to pull back because I was deep into dive of Kuznetsov and Russia and the Olympics and all that. But yeah, Eric Stahl officially signed a one-day contract with the Canes so he could retire as a Cane. The Canes have opted to retire his number on January 12th.
Wow, that was fast.
It was.
Didn't it?
Because you got to get your tickets for it.
The Rangers
as
did
fast
that
as
They
you
don't have a
can.
big history.
The Rangers did that turnaround too. That quick of a turnaround as well when Lundqvist retired. They had his banner raising like
Yeah.
around the same time, January I think it was.
That makes sense because Lundqvist is a legend. But Stahl,
Well,
which one
and
is this now?
Eric, we've
Eric.
had 3 of the 4 brothers.
Bathroom.
Thank you.
It's bathroom stall.
We almost collected the whole set. But he was such an integral part of the Canes. He played for the Canes for 11 years. He still holds quite a few records for the Canes. So it's not surprising that they're retiring the number. It's not surprising that he also signed that one-day contract as a Cane. Again, 11 seasons was a key part for the Canes winning the cup. So sad to see him leave. We still have another Stahl on the team, so we'll see him around.
I think you would have been better off to see Jordan Stahl retire, in my opinion. I get that 2.9 off the books. 35. He's
would it have been
no.
opposed?
Eric Stahl's older, right?
He's 39. Yes.
No, okay, yeah. Wow. Well, good for him.
So yeah,
Props to Eric.
January 12th.
Are you going?
I want to. Let me see. I don't even know who. Depends on who they're playing too.
Penguins.
In other news, Patrick Laine was cleared to return by the NHLPA, which I do remember. I think we talked about this towards the end of season 1. Like he wanted out of Columbus, and they were good with that, but he hasn't been moved.
Who do you think will take him?
Edmonton.
I was going to say the same thing, but I think that he's not as much of a bad boy for Edmonton. Not
Oh
you
my
know.
gosh, he has lost almost all of his hair. Wow.
Oh, like Detroit, he'd fit into with Detroit, I think. On a line with Larkin. Absolutely. And DeBrinket.
I actually
And
don't
Kane.
hate that.
4 people on a line. Sick.
I don't.
4 people on a line A. Take
We're
that for
ending
your
this
fantasy team
podcast
name.
right now.
My tenant's saying her sink's leaking, so that's great.
Okay, but genuinely thinking about the question of who would take him, the Ducks would be a place. Like they need someone that's a veteran-ish. San Jose. I'm sure Carolina would love the scraps of other teams. No
He just
offense.
added
it.
If we're talking about scraps of other teams, the Rangers will take them too.
No, that's too much of a
Senators?
distraction.
No, I don't think that's.
Senators, yeah, they need something.
I don't hate Detroit. I don't hate Detroit as an option.
What about Seattle?
I think that they've already overpaid. They've already overpaid 2 players. I don't think they're gonna have the ability to give him. I mean, I think that they have cap room, but I don't. They got to get Beniers signed before they do anything.
I mean, you've got to think he's going to sign for like a
Some
kind of deal that would be like $1 to $2 million per year at most.
Are you crazy? Patrick Laine, he's making 8.7 this year.
Yeah, and how much did he play? Never.
Before he went into the Players Assistance program, he was playing.
He played 16 games.
No, he was injured a ton. I had him on my fantasy team. That's how I know.
I also had him on my
He sat on
fantasy
my
team.
IR.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
18 games.
Something. Yep.
6
sounds about
goals.
Right. Yeah.
Well,
3
okay.
assists.
It'll be at least 4.5.
Okay. What about Boston? Would you want him there?
Depends what we're giving up and how much salary cap is eating.
You're giving
Boston
around,
needs scores.
according to
Boston
you, $4
needs
million.
centers and scores. Depends how much I have left over after Swayman.
I think for the trade to get him, you still have to pay him the 8.7. You've got to make Columbus retain that if you're making that trade.
100%.
Not all of it, but
50. Yeah, they would definitely have to take 50%.
and like a 4th round pick. You give a 4th round or something.
Alan wants to know why not Dallas.
Because Jim Nill's a GM of the year. That's why.
Because Jim Nill's smart. That's why.
Oh my God. Please trade. I hope that trade goes through now.
I have seen
Clippers
rumors
so bad.
that Dallas should be a spot, but I don't like it.
I've seen rumors of every single team being a spot. I mean,
the dude just is injury plagued and then mentally plagued.
There were people on Reddit in the Rangers subreddit saying like, we should go for Laine. I'm like, are you high? Like, why do you want these players? Listen, I like Laine. I hope he gets better. I hope he's able to get out of his head and do, he's a good guy from what it seems like, but he just hasn't done much these last couple years. And it's rough to want to have a guy like that who's been on IR in your roster. I don't want him anywhere near New York unless it's on the island.
Ever since the whole Fortnite thing happened, where it like came out, he was just playing Fortnite all the time. Did you guys ever hear about that?
Yes.
Yeah. Where was he then? Was that Winnipeg? Yeah.
I think it was Columbus. Because it was
Winnipeg.
Wasn't it with Tortorella in Columbus?
Ooh,
I'm pretty sure it was.
maybe. But like ever since then, things have just not gone well for him.
I want him
Maybe
to
he
get
should
better.
just stop playing Fortnite.
I had high hopes for him this season. I kept him. He was one of my keepers in fantasy. I had high hopes for him, and he played 18 games. So like, I don't want him on my team personally.
Alan mentioned Detroit.
I like
we
Detroit.
talked about.
Yeah.
Anaheim. I pitched that one. Minnesota's the interesting one because that would be a good fit, but that would only, in my opinion, be a good fit once they've got Suter and what's his name?
The other guy.
What is his name?
Parise.
Parise.
Yeah, Parise.
Yes.
Off the books.
I like Detroit. I think Detroit would be a good spot for him because it's right in the middle of the of a team that could potentially make the playoffs. He could slot in maybe on a third line somewhere, maybe even a second. See what he could do. I like Detroit as an option.
And unless he's a car guy, no distractions in the city. So it's a good fit. It's a small dig at Detroit. Now, if he likes water, maybe not the best place, but anyways, Austin Matthews has been named the captain for Toronto in a crazy spiraling series of events.
So
John Tavares. Go. Yeah. Go.
I was just gonna say I haven't paid attention this last week at all. I was in Spokane. Nick knows what Spokane's like. Terrible place. I was in Spokane the last couple days, and I haven't paid attention to any of this. What happened with Tavares? And did he just did they take it from him? Was he like, here you go, kid? Like, what happened?
The story they're putting out, whether or not it's the right story or not, is that Tavares and management had been talking about this for a while, and it was a mutual decision.
I don't believe it.
Yeah. It doesn't make
fake news.
Sense.
That's fake news.
Because
Make it mutual, or we'll take it. Here's your choices.
If you're Tavares, would you rather just be back with the Islanders as a captain again?
Will never allow that to happen.
No. They would not. But if you're Tavares and you weren't actually okay with it, and you were told you're not going to be captain, do you think he's thinking like, dang it, I should have just stayed in New York?
He's still in Toronto, dude. That's what he wanted. Allen said, either way, I see Tavares signing for Beans to stay a Leaf. I agree. He's not going to go anywhere.
Craziest thing to me is he only has 1 year left on this crazy contract. Why wouldn't they just wait until next year? I don't care.
Yeah. Let him retire and then be done.
This was a Craig Berube decision.
So how old is Tavares?
73. No, I think he's like 36.
34. 33. Goodness, I thought Tavares and Kuznetsov were like 5 years older than they are. Jeez. 29 goals, 65 points last season. Wow, he's doing better than I thought.
He was not bad at all. I think that he's overpaid, but whatever. Yeah, no.
Okay, so for fun. No, go ahead.
No, I lost it. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say for fun, he had 65 points last season, right? Okay. Let's assume this wasn't his decision and he's got emotions about it. At the end of next season, does he have more or less than 65 points? Take into account, maybe not being captain takes some weight off your shoulders and you perform better, maybe. Or the emotions of it. Okay. Less, yeah.
I think he'll have the same. I think it'll be the same.
65 even.
Not 65 even, but around 65, 70.
So like 70, 63, 66, 64.
I said 65, 70.
Who's the freaking number?
That's all right. 69.
So you're going over.
69.
Okay.
And a half.
Nice.
Amanda, what say you?
Who's the number 69? It's hilarious.
Do you think he has more or less than 65 points?
More.
More? I'm going to go more too.
She said that begrudgingly.
It's just more. I forgot how chaotic this could be.
I think Tavares is gonna do better this season, and Matthews is gonna do worse. this season. Can we say this season now? Not next season? I don't know.
Yes.
Anything
we can say
else?
this season. I don't think so.
I don't have the full details, but those 2 offer sheets that St. Louis did were pretty interesting. I don't know if Amanda
yeah.
happened to pull those up or
did
not. Basically, so earlier in the week, St. Louis traded a 2nd and a 3rd round pick to Pittsburgh to get their second round pick back and a 5th for a couple years later. So in case,
2nd and
basically,
3rd.
if Edmonton,
2026 2nd, 2025 3rd.
to get the 2025 second back, right?
2025 2nd and 2026 5th. Yeah, sorry.
So in order to make this offer sheet to, I think it was Broberg, they needed to have their own 2nd round pick for next draft in hand, and that's why they made that trade. Either way, if they can snag one of these or 2 of these kids, it's why not?
Yeah, they're in that weird in between of being mid and rebuilding full on.
Mm-hmm.
Which I love
We
to
were
see.
just saying- we were
Jordan
just saying-
Binnington there.
We were just saying how they don't have any defense, and I guess this Philip Broberg kid is a pretty decent defensive prospect. So
Hopefully it
Hey,
goes through.
one more dollar on each of these offer sheets would have been a higher round draft pick. So extra class by Doug Armstrong.
I don't know how any
Trying
of
to
the
think
offer
if there
sheet
was-
things work, but it's funny to see it happen to Edmonton.
So Edmonton has 7 days to respond to St. Louis of whether
Which-
or not they want to match the offer sheet or not.
Which by now is what, 4? Because it happened on
Yes.
Monday, right?
Imagine being these players just like waiting, being like, "Am I moving halfway across the country?
Do I
or
have to
what's going
move
here?"
To Missouri? I have to move to Missouri? What
Wait,
the hell
you'd
is in
rather live
Missouri?
in-
Edmonton. I was gonna
Far
say,
north
I was gonna say.
Alberta.
I'd rather not be in either of those places.
Cocaine.
I'll go to Spokane. Yeah.
I think
That's all I got.
one last thing I'll say is, you always see lots of pictures of the cup being toured and yada yada. As outside of like it getting in the ocean like the day after the Stanley Cup, I've seen nothing really about the Stanley Cup tour, which goes back to the whole nobody's really talking about Florida. Maybe I'm just not looking in the right places.
I saw that someone did like a heel flip over it in like Finland for the first time ever, which was pretty cool. I think it was
Is there an ice cream truck
Is there
outside
an
your house?
there is an ice cream truck outside my
Yes.
house, yeah. It's 7:40. There's an ice cream truck coming outside my house. Hold on, wait a second. Let me get one of those
7:40.
WWE things. Give me one moment.
No. You don't go to an ice cream
SpongeBob.
truck. Not without someone that can make sure you're not taken. Just
You're
Don't
right,
go
I
to
am a
ice
child.
don't
I forgot what I was going on about.
heel or kick flip.
Oh
over
yeah,
the Stanley Cup.
someone did a skateboard trick over it. I think it was with E2 Listerainen's Day with the Cup. That I might be wrong on that. I don't know why I'm thinking it's in Finland. Maybe it was I don't know. Ekblad. I don't remember. One of them had it and someone did a skateboard trick over it. That was cool.
I do remember seeing Luongo eat pasta out of it, but that was also like the night of
That was
or the day after.
Yeah, that was like the first thing.
The pasta looked good. All right. Well, Cass, you said you have nothing else.
Yeah, I got a leaking drain pipe upstairs with my tenant, so I have to go.
Nice.
Have fun.
Nice.
Hopefully,
Not really.
hopefully it costs you a
For
lot of money
homeownership.
and time.
I'll send you pictures.
You've already done that.
When are we
Yes.
coming back? We're coming back at the beginning
Pipe
of
pictures.
September. We're going to start with one of the divisions and do our division breakdowns, and we're going to have a new look.
We'll figure it out.
We're all getting facelifts
Yeah,
between
we're
now and then.
yeah,
So
we're
be
all
ready.
we're all gonna do logos with fades. Every one of us, Amanda included.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
And this is officially my last day on this podcast. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you for nothing. You were atrocious. Cool. All right. Alan says Fade Gang. I think that's going to be it for us. We'll figure out when we're going to come back. We'll post it somewhere. Probably first week of September. Yeah, cool. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you aren't following us on Twitter, which we're going to have to start paying for to go live on, you can find us at Top Shelf Dusters, facebook.com/Top Shelf Dusters, topshelfdusters@gmail.com. Just contact us, please. We miss you. Okay, bye.
Miss you.
Don't leave me stuck with
Happy
these guys.
summer.
Okay, bye.